All right, welcome to our very first ever virtual podcast. Typically, Andy and I obviously do these podcasts together, and because we're staying safe like everybody else should be, we're separate right now. He's at his house. Andy, say hi.
Hi, how's it going?
And I'm at mine. And just like the road trips from my backyard video series that we've been doing, we're doing this virtually, and we hope that it turns out okay.
Yeah, I we've been wanting to get this out here, so we're giving it a shot today. And we wanted to go through a few things that we've been doing, and one of those being the road trips from my backyard, which have been a lot of fun putting those out. So I think it'd be cool, Nick, if you kind of went through your concept for that, how you came up with it.
So, the concept of this was simple. Over the last few years, we've been compiling a library of footage across the entire state. Everywhere from the UP, Marquette, Sault Ste. Marie, St. Agnes, down into the west side of Michigan with Grand Haven, Grand Rapids, over to Port Huron and up into the Thumb. And I have all of this footage, and I really like to share the state of Michigan. I believe that Michigan is worth sharing. And whether or not I can go and get new footage to show you, or I can go back and show you some of the adventures because eventually we're all going to start traveling again, right? Like that's
Right. I hope so.
yeah, and that's the idea. So I thought the best place to go on these adventures would be to go back through old footage, which I've been having a lot of fun looking at some of the ways that I used to shoot the videos, the ways that I used to edit, and then looking at them in a new light with how I make things now and adding some context to it. So you get a little bit of the behind the scenes when you're watching them because I'm going through telling you what we were doing at the time. And it's been a lot of fun trying to put back everything together.
Yeah, and I mean, me personally, from like a consumer of content, I love the behind the scenes look. And I know it's not totally like they're not just not behind the scenes videos, but when you're recording those new parts in your backyard, I think you're giving a little new light on some of the things that we were doing at that time and what the day was like and what that means to us now, maybe compared to what we didn't know at that time.
Yeah. My biggest thing is I realize that there's a lot of spots that I want to get back to, and I still want to get back to this year once we can. And there's some gaps in my footage. I want to start showing off a few spots, like maybe the west end of the UP a bit more.
Right.
And you and I have spent a ton of time in the west end, but going and doing stuff and going and recording things are a lot of two different things. You don't just
Right.
always have cameras rolling, so I don't have footage from different spots, and it's really made me motivated to go out and capture more of our state. And so,
Well, it's actually made me think of, and this is something that I know I bring up to you every once in a while, and I don't I ever know if it's what we should do or not. But like, it's like I always feel like I need to just start keeping my camera on, and I think about that, and I know it just end up there'd be so much stuff that wasn't relevant, and I mean that was kind of when I initially got into like creating content. I would take 1,000 photos and maybe like one would be worthwhile.
yeah,
And so if I did that with video, that it could end up being just
take 1,000 minutes of footage and get one that's worthwhile.
yeah, a lot of fumbling of cameras and the tripods falling over and stuff. But yeah, it makes me just think like that a little bit more.
One of the things that I'm realizing again, feeling a little nostalgia. The first one that I did was Marquette, and that's where I went to school at NMU. I played football there. That's where my love for exploring the outdoors happened. I say that it happened in the Sioux because our family was outdoor people. We were always out on the water. We're always out doing stuff. But that was like these are the spots that we go to enjoy those things. Marquette really encourages exploring and finding new spots. And the first one that I went to and I saw was Little Presque Isle. And once I put that footage out, that's when you came back and you were like, I haven't ever even been to this area before. And then it
No,
made me realize like I took you out to the Forestville area the one time where we went to the Dead River Falls.
yeah,
And I remember that specifically because I said, "Hey, do you want to go off-roading and then go to a waterfall and jump off cliffs?" And you're like, "Yeah, that sounds like an awesome day."
Right. I want to do that right now.
Yeah. And when we were talking about it, you thought that was three separate things. You were like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we'll go off-roading, then we'll go to a waterfall, then we'll go to a cliff." And we did it, it's all one thing. Like that was just that one area. And
Yep.
then that's one of the adventures that you've done up there, but really like there's so much to do, even as much as just going to Presque Isle, like the regular Presque
Right.
Isle, if you only have like an hour or two, all the
Right.
way to you can hike into the woods in some places and just disappear for days if you feel like it. Which,
Right.
I mean, that would be pretty awesome if we could do that right now. But
Yeah, it would be.
then the other part of the Marquette video is their beer scene. Since I moved away, it was the year that Black Rocks was trying to open. And since then, they've had three different breweries open. They've had Black Rocks, Ordock, and Barrel and Beam.
Maryland bean.
Yep. And all of them are incredible. And that was one of the adventures, or I keep saying adventures, but one of the things that you've gone and done is you went up and Fall Beer
Fall
Fest.
beer fest.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's awesome. I mean that part of Marquette is really cool. Like the downtown area, and just like the I don't know if you call it the nightlife or the day life of the town. That's a really fun part that I have. I mean, last time we were up there was for or I was up there was for a pretty short trip for Fall Beer Fest. So
Yeah.
to get back up there again this summer and do some of the other stuff, it's definitely on my list of things to do.
So in our second episode of the road trips from my backyard, I went and revisited some of the footage that I've taken from really some of our very first footage that we've ever had because we started doing this in the Sioux mostly when we were on trips to see our family. And
Yeah,
it mostly is through islands one, two, and three. If I have a
yeah,
plethora of footage, it's in that one spot right there.
right.
Rotary Park, islands one, two, and three, right next to Clyde's. The ships roll by within feet of you at that point. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to, I mean, hey, we got all the time in the world, so just explain to me how you feel about it. So in the Sioux, if you're talking about your perfect day up there, which typically we're up there in July at some point, what are you going to
Mhm.
be doing in that perfect day?
So I never put shoes on for a lot of the day, which sounds like a funny way to start it. But like I usually just put on a pair of shorts, like board shorts, and a t-shirt, and I just go outside at our if we're at our parents' house at this time, and go outside playing yard games. Where all our family is huge into yard games, whether that's washers or we're playing uh, any yard game really. So just hanging out, and then if it's nice out, is jumping in the water a few times during that, and then it's just all day out on the paddleboard for short trips, coming back, just going out on the canoe and or a kayak and messing around right out front, and then usually each day I feel like I do one like then bigger paddle. So really like kind of gear up and go. I usually pay attention to the Boat Nerd website to see if there's like a freighter coming. So, because that just adds to the experience of paddling right there.
Yeah.
So I'll see if there's like a boat coming, and then head out through the islands one, two, and three, like you said, and find a cool spot in between two of the islands. Hang out, watch one of the boats go by, and then continue on from there. Usually make if you go around that whole set of islands, like you can get a pretty good paddle, and then depending on the conditions, you're either paddling against the current for half of it, or paddling. It can be really hard depending if you get against current and against wind or one or the other. So, but yeah, that's my day, and then we usually end up as the day ends, going a lot of times to Bird's Eye or downtown somewhere and hang out for a little bit. So that's my perfect day, summer day there, and I can't wait to do that again. Like I know it's easy to just say like, oh, that sounds really fun. It's like that sounds actually super fun right now.
Yeah, exactly. I think that there's something missed in your story there. So if you're there and you have the option, are you going to go West Pier, Antlers $5 box, or Clyde's?
Oh, oh man. I mean, they're all really good. I tend like I've had Clyde's the most because of pure convenience, and I just really like that spot. And I mean, both of them are unique though, and like they're right at opposite ends of the river and the locks and cool views and stuff like that. And then even antlers as well. But I feel like I've gotten Antlers $5 burger box quite a few times recently. But I also in a summer day taking the boat down, ordering and taking the boat down to Clyde's and just floating around like that's pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, it
I mean,
is.
and that's out of convenience of where we're usually at. That works.
So, those are our first two episodes of the road trip from my backyard, and I, like I said, have really enjoyed going back, looking at the old footage. It's definitely making me miss going on to do something else. Those were our
Yeah.
UP ones. I have a few more from the UP that I'll be putting out over the next couple of weeks to kind of keep this thing flowing. So make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on Facebook. Instagram's a great way to kind of follow along with our photography side of what we're doing. And so if you could just go today and travel to some spot, one day trip, right from where you're at, what would you be doing?
Oh, so right now, I tend to this time of year do I love going out to like the Great Lakes
Yeah.
for things, but on a day like yesterday, where at my house, I think one time when I looked at my weather app, it said it was 73 degrees. It's much warmer, a little bit inland. So this time of year, I do a lot of like inland lake areas, like either paddling an inland lake or hiking around an inland lake. Um, and that sounds like a lot of fun right now. But if it was like if you took it and it was like warmer everywhere, like just going out in one of my days, like from my house, going out to Grand Haven, going paddling on Lake Michigan, hanging out like when we bring your truck camper, like for
Yeah.
5 hours of just hang out, games on the beach, and then going to Oddside maybe for a little bit. Like that sounds really fun right now.
I mean, I couldn't agree. Couldn't agree
Yeah.
more. And the last thing that I wanted to cover on today's podcast, I wanted to cover what we call the 15-minute photo contest. I put out it wasn't a road trip from my backyard necessarily. I guess it was part of that one. But I find this to be one of my favorite. Hold on, let me adjust something real quick. There. I find the 15-minute photo contest to be one of my favorite things to do with a small group of people. So, right now, if you're just in your house and in your yard, it's a great way to play the game. And if you don't have a group of people at your house, like your family's not there, or you want to play and connect with people virtually, get into a group chat. And the game is you have 15 minutes to get the best photo possible. You can only submit one. And what you do is somebody in the group chat would say go, or in your house say go. And then you have to have the photo submitted by the time the 15 minutes is up. So it's as creative as you can get at that point. Any subject matter is game. And then everybody there votes. Well, the only rule is you can't vote for yourself, otherwise it'd be 1-to-1 no matter what. At least in our family, no one would ever vote for somebody else.
Right.
They always think that they'd have the best. So you have to vote for somebody else. And if you don't think that's enough sample size, take those photos and post them all in one post on Facebook, and then have your family and friends on Facebook vote on who you think took the best one. And it is such a fun way because right now everyone has a phone, a tablet, something that can upload a photo really quickly and easily. And we found that it is a really good way to kind of keep conversations going and to look at your surroundings a little bit different that maybe you've been in now for a month.
Yeah, right. So, it is fun, and a couple of people that we know, one that we really know closer, and then someone that we don't know that well, shared some of their photos with us. That was really fun, and seeing the different levels. And I think one of the funniest things was so the one family is a family of five, three or family of six, sorry, and they had five people play though, and the three boys actually got way more votes than the two parents, so that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Just showed that showed their creativity. That was a funny way that that one went.
Yeah. How young was the youngest one that was playing about?
Oh geez, now I'm bad. I'm so bad at ages. I don't know, probably nine,
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
That's
so bad at that.
but that's what I mean by it's fun for you can have your entire family. It's not like you need, any group, any age range, anything like that.
Mhm.
Anybody that can run a phone that can take these photos, and it makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I think that we've had a lot of fun doing that in the past, and if you've never done it, it's definitely something fun to do. You could get on and do it, talk about it then in a Zoom call or in Facebook video chat or wherever. Be a lot of fun. And then the other thing that we've talked about doing, which I think would be fun, uh, and I'm kind of challenging you to it right now because we mentioned it, but going on our own two personal TikTok pages that we have and
Yeah.
doing a TikTok challenge to see if any of either of us can create the most I don't know, most viewed, most mini viral video,
Yeah.
which I think that would be fun.
Well, okay, so that brings me to the very last thing that I wanted to ask you, and I think you might be leading into it already. To pass the time, what have you been doing different now that you have so much time just in your own home?
Well, if you're watching on video, I've been growing a beard.
Yeah, that looks nice.
So this is like the longest I've ever went without shaving. So it's looking really nice right now. I have also I have been doing a lot on TikTok. I've been on TikTok a lot, uh, and I have like my own personal like Twitter and TikTok. So I've been trying to use those more as well, which take into a lot of the things that we do and Instagram, but more behind the scenes and stuff like that, or just more about me personally. And so I've been doing, trying to do more of like the trending TikTok things.
Yeah.
So I've been probably looking absolutely ridiculous. Anyone in my neighborhood that sees me using the freeze frame TikTok, which is like one of the trending things to do right now, and it's so fun. But you look ridiculous if you're doing it outside, like I have been. So definitely been doing a lot of that to pass the time. Still going outside and going on lots of walks, hikes. I've paddled a little bit, stuff like that. Not really hikes, I would say more walks. But yeah, that's that, and I just when it's nice out, I'm outside. And that's pretty much what I've left it at because I'm not going to waste a nice day, even if I just go sit out on my deck and do some stuff out there.
Yeah. Good.
All right, what about you?
Oh my gosh, the squirrels.
Oh yeah,
Marklin, my wife, is definitely a friend of the critters in our house. So we've got feeders and that kind of thing, and we
I would
encourage the
say at
squirrels.
your house.
What's that?
I would say friends of the critters at your house. You said in your house.
Yeah.
You haven't gotten that far yet.
Yeah, I could see that happening, especially with what we've been doing. So recently, what I've been doing is trying to set up a campsite so that it looks like a squirrel has been camping and is sitting at a picnic table with a tent. And as it turns out, the American Girl doll size accessories fit a squirrel perfectly. So if you can get them to interact with their stuff, you can really get some good shots. And so far, I haven't gotten the one that I'm really ready to unveil, but when I do, it's going to be something else.
Yeah. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, the one screenshot you showed me has been pretty entertaining, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right, well, that's it for today's episode. I just wanted to say thank you guys for listening. Obviously, we try to bring the best quality of sound and audio, but we're making do with the best of what we have. So I hope you enjoy this. And if you guys want to hear us talk about anything else or any subjects that you want us to cover, be it outdoors, paddling, that kind of thing, just let us know, and we'll keep this up. So I just want to say thanks for listening, guys, and until next time, cheers.